Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Temple Buddhist Center's Sunday meditation service. My name is Victor, and I'm honored to be of service this morning. We hope that today's gathering finds each and every one of you happy and healthy, but please know that if you are struggling in any way, our hope is that Temple Buddhist Center, this Sangha, this community, these teachings can be a source of strength and refuge for you as we open our hearts to you and to your loved ones. We also take a moment to welcome all those folks joining us from all around the world during for our streaming service, and also welcome, we have lots of new folks this morning, so I had a chance to meet with a few of you as you came in, so welcome to everyone who's joining us for the first time. So here at Temple Buddhist Center, we like to begin our service with some conscious breath work. A conscious breath is where you breathe in through the nose fully, completely filling the lungs, and then you hold that for a few moments, and then you release slowly so that the exhale is longer than the inhale. Let's begin. Breathing in, holding for a moment, feeling the fullness of the lungs, and now releasing slowly in sort of a metered fashion. And as you release that breath, taking a moment to check in with the body to make sure that there are no points of tension or contraction, releasing the forehead, the eyebrows unfurrow, the jaw rests easy, the shoulders drop, and the belly releases and softens. And a second conscious breath together, breathing in, holding for a moment, ventilating this precious human form, and now releasing. And as you release, giving yourself full and complete permission to unplug from that energy that we are normally plugged into, that energy of going and doing and striving and efforting. And instead, this morning in sacred Sangha, we come together to cultivate the energy of just being. And a third conscious breath together. And releasing. And as you release the breath on this third time around, we take a moment to allow into our awareness the present moment. There is only this. This is all there is. Here at Temple Buddhist Center, we like to begin our service with a chant. Chanting is an integral part of every tradition. Chanting is not about being a singer. Chanting is about having a voice. Chanting is about a deeply devotional expression of what is sacred within you and sharing that with the world. And so our chant today is Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, and Sangham Saranam Gacchami. These are the three refuges, taking refuge in our Buddha nature, in the teachings, the Dharma, and finally Sangha, our spiritual community. And so with that, let's take a conscious breath together. And let's begin. Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami. from the top. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Once more. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Here at Temple Buddhist Center, we practice Western Buddhism. Western Buddhism is a blend of Eastern philosophy and Western psychology. And this new and exciting form of spirituality is dynamic, it's growing, and it's learning with us as we find out more every day about this amazing human experience. It is active, and it focuses on core Buddhist insights such as mindfulness, meditation, and their practical applications in our daily life. Our goal here is not to get everyone to agree on a specific lineage, philosophy, or sect of Buddhism, but rather it is on a shared experience of mindfulness, oneness, and love. Whether we are chanting together, whether we are sharing from the heart, or whether we are spending time in noble silence, we respect that you will participate at a level that is comfortable for you. We take refuge in the 3 jewels of the Buddhist practice. Our chant today is based on those 3 jewels. And we take refuge and acknowledge these core values as expressions of the awakened mind, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We value awareness of our Buddha nature, as well as the Buddha nature of all beings, bringing a fresh and a new perspective to each and every encounter. And the second jewel, the Dharma, the truth teachings that release us from fear, from delusion, and help us to realize the true nature of who we are. And of course, finally, Sangha, our spiritual community, an essential part of growth, where we come together to practice the teachings and to help each other along every step of the path. And so at this time, let us take a moment to silence any cell phones or electronic devices as we prepare for a time in contemplation and meditation. We will begin with the prayer of refuge, which we will recite 3 times for the 3 jewels. Together, in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. And so, as we prepare now for a time in meditation, if you have an extensive practice, then we invite you to practice in a way that is comfortable for you this morning. If perhaps you are newer to meditation, we're going to begin first with a dedication of intention. We will awaken the bell 3 times for the 3 jewels. And then our teacher today, Mr. Robert Brumet, will guide us in a brief guided meditation that's designed to assist you in moving into the stillness. We will spend approximately 10 to 12 minutes today in noble silence, connecting with our Sangha, both near and far, connecting with each other in consciousness. At the end of that time period, Robert will kindly and lovingly bring us out of meditation. We will sound the return bell, and then it will be time for today's Dharma talk, or teaching. And so with that, let's take a conscious breath together. Body, speech, and mind in perfect oneness. I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness, transcend the path of anxiety and sorrow to realize the true nature of who they are.
To follow that sound into the silence. Into the silence deep within our own being. We enter gently, letting go of the everyday mind, the planning, doing, thinking. And if the mind doesn't want to stop, just leave it alone. You don't have to identify with it, argue with it, or listen to it. Just come into the silence, focusing on the breath. Using the breath as a pathway home. Becoming aware of each breath as we breathe in, as we breathe out. We become aware of the pause between breaths. We become aware of the body as it sits in the chair or on the cushion. Feeling the breath in the body. feeling the body as it sits, feeling the breath at the belly, breathing in, breathing out. Whenever the attention gets caught in thinking, planning, rehearsing, telling stories, just bring your awareness to the breath. Feel the breath. Feel the breath in the body. And return to it again and again as necessary. At this time, I invite you to become aware of the body as it sits, feeling your arms and your legs, becoming aware of the experience of hearing. Continuing to notice thinking, but not be engaged in it if you can avoid that. Coming back to the experience, sensations in the body, hearing. And in a moment you'll hear the bell ring, and as you do, I invite you to gently open your eyes. Continue the practice with your eyes open, fully awake to all of the senses as you see, listen, as you sense, with awareness. Now here's the bell. Good morning. Nice to be here with you this morning. One week from Christmas, it's a time when it's easy to get caught up in planning. Christmas list. Oh, I forgot Aunt Susie. I better buy her something. So just watching all of that take place and come back to the present moment, to what you're hearing, to what you're seeing, feeling. So how many people here have played with the slinky? You remember the slinky? Yeah, I remember that when I was a kid. How about the potato head? Anybody here done a Mr. Potato Head? Some of the younger folks are going, what the heck is he talking about, you know? How about the Chatty Cathy? Remember the Chatty Cathy doll? Yeah, I remember searching all over Grand Rapids, Michigan for a Chatty Cathy doll at Christmas Eve, because my daughter had to have one. And I was not going to let the Christmas come without her getting one, so you know how that goes. And then, remember the pet rock? That had to be the biggest con job on earth. Making money selling rocks. And they were a craze. I mean, people were standing in line at department stores to get a pet rock. And then, of course, the Cabbage Patch doll. I remember that one. That's, you know, where people were getting robbed of their Cabbage Patch dolls. You know, crooks were not taking their wallets or purses, but you know, turn over your Cabbage Patch doll. And what's a little bit later, the Beanie Baby. Remember the Beanie Baby? So all of these crazes, and it's interesting, the word craze and crazy, you know, are not that far apart. And yet, we can be so moved and so persuaded and so hooked by craving and by those that are masters at manipulating craving. Craving and Christmas seem to go, unfortunately, hand in hand. And sometimes I wonder what would happen if everybody became enlightened and maybe there was no more craving. What would happen to our economy? Yeah. Of course, if we were all enlightened, we wouldn't care what happened to the economy. Maybe, but I don't know. But it's so interesting how craving drives the economy, how it drives so much in our life. Grasping, having to have, believing we can't live without something. And then, interestingly enough, we come along and start practicing Buddhism, and we hear the words, craving is the source of suffering. And so, it's interesting, how can something that we're craving, we think is going to make us happy, but that craving itself causes us suffering. So it's a very interesting mix. If only I had that pet rock, then I'd be happy forever after, right? But then we go through all sorts of craving to get that pet rock or whatever it is. The job, the relationship, whatever it is that is our current pet rock. So what does one do? Because we can't live without desire. That's part of our human nature. We are desire as human beings. So let's look at the relationship between desire and craving. This is a very important one because it gets strongly misunderstood. Desire in and of itself does not cause suffering. Desire is not necessarily craving. Desire is an experience. It's an internal experience in the body, in the mind. You can feel it physically and emotionally. Craving is when the mind has a picture of something and it believes that it has to have that external object, or else it will suffer greatly. And it does suffer greatly if it doesn't get that external object. It's got nothing to do with the object. It's got everything to do with the craving. That's the interesting thing. So, looking at desire and craving. Desire is natural. We're born desiring, right? If you've ever been around an infant or a toddler, they're just little need machines. I want, And that's normal, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's quite natural. In fact, the psychologist Abraham Maslow developed what he called a hierarchy of needs or of desires. He recognized that there are universal human desires, and these desires are hierarchical in the sense that one precedes the other. So in other words, what's the most basic desire we have? To breathe. If you can't breathe, nothing else matters, guaranteed. So we can breathe. Is that enough? Well, for a while, but we need water. We need food. We need sleep. We need whatever we need to keep the body alive and healthy. The next layer, once the physical needs are met, is the need for safety. And once those two needs are met, then what arises is the need for love and belonging. You see, if we're starving, we're not particularly concerned with being loved. But once we get food in our belly, once we feel like we're safe, why then the question of love and belonging shows up. And if that need is met, then what shows up is the need for autonomy. Autonomy meaning a healthy sense of self, healthy sense of self-esteem, feeling okay. I can be loved, but not necessarily have that need for autonomy met. Because sometimes love means you've got to be like everybody else. Autonomy means I can be loved being myself, whether I'm the same or different than everybody else, you see. And then when that need is met, there are still higher needs. The need for spiritual awakening, the need to play, the need for creativity, the need to express ourselves, and ultimately to go beyond ourselves. So these are all natural human desires. They're in every one of us sitting here. They're in every one of us human beings. So how can we say that desire is the cause of suffering? It's not. Craving is the cause of suffering. And craving is when desire gets hijacked by the mind and says, you have to have this particular thing. For example, we desire food. That's natural. We have to have food. That's desire. Craving says, I have to have a pepperoni pizza from Papa Murphy's. I got to have that. Or I got to have a donut, or whatever it is I have to have to say. Craving is an attachment to something very particular. Craving is the result of conditioning. You see, desire is not. But what happens is the desire for something shows up, the desire for love, and then the mind steps in, our conditioned mind says, but in order to be loved, you have to do this and that and be a certain way. Be smart, be pretty, be good, whatever you say. So the practice I'm offering to you is the practice of living in the heart of desire, which doesn't mean being attached to anything you desire, but living in the experience of feeling desire in the body, in the mind. Let yourself want something. Rather than get attached to what it is you want, which is very easy to do. It's a slippery slope. But see if you can catch that desire and simply feel the wanting, the experience of wanting, the experience of longing itself. It's not easy, but it's very powerful. The etymology of the word desire, etymology is the origins of the word itself. You know, you can trace a particular word back over time. And the etymology of the word desire includes the word desiderata, a Latin word, which means from the stars. From the stars. Isn't that interesting? Now, a lot of people will equate this with astrology. That's possible. But for me, it goes even deeper than that. To me, that when we are in touch with our heart's desire, without craving, we are in touch with the deepest desire of the universe itself. In other words, the universe itself has desires. The desire to exist. Scientists call that the Big Bang. I want to be. And the universe became. And then the desire to be alive. And then the universe became alive. Certainly on this planet and likely on a lot of other planets. Then the universe said, I want to be intelligent. I want to be able to direct, solve, create. And so it developed Homo sapiens, what we call human beings. The next desire of the universe, I believe, is the desire of the universe to be aware of itself. The universe wants to know itself. And that's the work that we are doing. As we understand the nature of who we are more deeply, we are acting on behalf of the universe that is seeking to understand itself and to know its true nature. So, I believe we are, in a sense, evolving into a new species. From Homo sapiens to whatever's next. I playfully call it Homo divina. That's not a name anyone else, or no reputable scientist would call it that, but I can get away with it. So, whatever the next species is, may not look any different than we do right now, but internally living very differently. Self-aware and in touch with being instruments of the universe itself. So desire is desiderata, from the stars. We are deeply related to the stars, and I love I told Victor, I love that picture that shows up at the end where it says, this is a old picture of yourself. That's quite literally true, because every atom of your being came from inside of a star. Every element in your body was born inside of a star. So you are literally created from stardust. And I believe it's not just the physical aspect of ourselves that's related to the star, but I believe it also goes deeper into the spiritual aspect of what a star is, you see. We look at our sun, which is a star. What's the nature of our sun? Light, and it gives light and it gives light, and it asks for nothing in return. There's an old story about the sun was told there's darkness on the earth. So the people on the earth called the sun down to look at things. The sun came to earth and walked to and fro. And afterwards the sun says, I see no darkness. So that's the nature of the sun, is to give light. That's the ultimate love. So I'm going to present to you just a little exercise. I invite you to participate if you wish. This is something you can do on your own with pencil and paper, or you can have a friend ask these questions to you. So the process goes like this. Just relax and settle into your feelings. Not get caught up in thinking too much, but just notice what comes to your mind when I say, tell me something you want. Just imagine that you're responding out loud. Just imagine that. Don't do it. Okay, so assume that you now have that. Now what do you want? Got it? Now assume that you have that. What it feels like. Now what do you want? If you have that, now what do you want? And now what do you want? Just notice where that's taking you. And if we had time and this were a different setting, I would love to get feedback from folks. But I'll just tell you my experience and the experience I've heard from virtually everyone I've done this process with, is we discover that what we really want is a deeper sense of our own life. What we want is a deeper sense of ourself, our own being. You know, we get down to, I got this, I got this, I got this. What I want is love. Okay, you got love. I want to be alive, right? I just want to be fully, deeply, totally alive. That's the stars speaking through you. That's the universe speaking through you. Saying, I want to be alive. I want to be intelligent. I want to be awake. I want to create, you see. To me, that's the meaning of Desiderata. That's your connection to the star. So I'm going to close with this quote from Desiderata, who was an Indian sage that lived not too long ago. I quote, he says, all you want is to be happy. All your desires, whatever they may be, are longing for happiness. Basically, you wish yourself well. Desire by itself is not wrong. It is life itself. It is the urge to grow in knowledge and in experience. It's the choices you make that are wrong. To imagine that some little thing, such as food, sex, power, fame, will make you happy is to deceive oneself. Only something as vast and deep as your real self can make you truly and lastingly happy. Only something as vast and deep as your real self can make you truly and lastingly happy. So let's just sit for a moment with those words. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be free from craving. May all beings live in the heart of desire.
Thank you so much, Robert. And in support of Robert's talk today, especially in the opening where he was talking about the holiday season, Temple Buddhist Center has placed at the front door of the meditation hall some Christmas gaithas. A gaitha is a small mantra or a short phrase to help us work through difficult times. And so those are available right by the door. Please take one per family, and if they're all gone, I've got a master. I can make more copies for you, but that is there for you guys. So taking a moment now to just take a conscious breath, and as we move from our lesson into our heart practice, it's okay to stretch, to shift your posture, maybe take a breath. And so a heart practice is an expression of the heart that we share with the universe. So during this time, many folks like to acknowledge this expression with a gesture. So some folks like to create the Anjali Mudra, which is what we often call prayer hands, or perhaps placing a hand on your heart or both hands. Or if you're in meditation posture, we invite you to flip your hands upside down as a way to sort of radiate your love. And so today's practice is, put this on, oh, thank you. Today's practice is an equanimity practice. It's an equanimity heart practice. So as we settle back in now, feel free to, take another conscious breath. Close your eyes and begin to relax any physical tension that is being held in the body. Breathing deeply, relaxing the shoulders. And so, as the breath settles into its natural flow, begin to reflect now on your deepest desire for happiness and freedom from suffering for both yourself and for others. Reflect on your desire to serve the needs of others and to be compassionately engaged in the world. Reflect on both the joy and the sorrow that exists in the world. Allow your heart's truest longing for truth and well-being to come into consciousness. With each breath, breathe into the heart's center, acknowledgement of the need to balance your pure intention of creating positive change with the reality of our inability to control people and circumstances. And And you may recite silently to yourself these following phrases. All beings are responsible for their own actions. Suffering or happiness is created through one's relationship to experience, not by experience itself. The freedom and happiness of others are dependent on their actions and not my wishes for them. Relax into the vibration of this balance between harmonizing the heart's deepest desire to help others with the mind's wise response of acknowledging our limitations. Taking a conscious breath together, breathing in, I calm. Breathing out, I smile at life. And so it is. And in the true spirit of Dana, the Buddhist practice of generosity, temple services here are given freely. In the same way, if you choose to give, please give with a generous heart, which means not in return for anything you have received today, but rather so that those who may be seeking refuge will find it here in this temple with this Sangha, these teachers, and these teachings. The Dana boxes are located at the back of the meditation hall. I think there's one upstairs at the balcony as well. And we take a moment now for gratitude, letting our hearts fill with gratitude for this opportunity to come together. Gratitude for all of our wonderful volunteers who work every day to bring new opportunities for our Sangha to connect, opportunities for our Sangha to deepen their knowledge of the Dharma, opportunities for our Sangha to reach out and be of service to our greater Sangha in Kansas City. We also take a moment of gratitude for all of our ambassadors, those folks who give each and every month electronically. And it's not about the amount, it's just that the monthly regular giving helps us to set a budget here at TBC. And also gratitude to Rochelle for your beautiful music. Thank you, Ricky. Gratitude to Mr. Robert Brumet for your wisdom, your teachings, your friendship, your kindness, sometimes letting me win our chess games. And thank you so much to each and every one of you for sharing your heart and your presence and your practice with us here at Temple Buddhist Center. We certainly are the better for it. And so as we prepare now to end our time together, everybody up in the heavenly abodes, there we go. As we prepare to end our time together, we will recite the Bodhicitta dedication together, and then I have a few announcements for you. So with that, together, may the pure, brilliant sun of Bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness and suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. And with the palms of our hands together now in front of our hearts, as we go forth from this place, may we enter each moment in innocence, guided by the wisdom of our hearts. And as we open our hands, open our eyes, shine our light into the world. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody. Just a few notes. Don't forget coffee, tea, cookies, and water and stuff are downstairs. When you go downstairs, please introduce yourself to someone and make a new friend. Expand your Sangha. Don't forget our lending library is right here and available. And a quick note about that. It's time, if you have an old dusty Dharma book sitting at home, we're starting to run short in our libraries. So those books that have already nourished you can now be a source of nourishment for some new members in our Sangha. So if you don't mind, please bring those books by. Just put to Temple Buddhist Center and you can drop it off in the lobby anytime during the week and we'll get those put in there. Also, because today is the third Sunday of the month, that means at 1 o'clock is our authentic relating class. Actually, a very popular class where Tim and Brian do a great job of helping in a safe and structured environment, helping adults learn to speak more from the heart and a little less from kind of that rote, automatic way, so to speak. Also, growing your practice is second and fourth Sundays. That is our meditation class for TBC. So how to strengthen and concretize your foundation for your daily meditation and mindfulness practice. So that's always second and fourth Sundays at 11:45. Our 4-day silent retreat is coming very, very soon. It is the New Year's retreat. The theme is equanimity in a world out of balance. And so Robert and I will be sequestered with you there at the retreat center for those of you that sign up to stay at the retreat center. Some folks like to commute, so they'll come in the morning and go home at night, and some people like to join us virtually. So registration is still open for that, but it will be closing very soon so that we can get food ordered and release any rooms that we will not be using. So please sign up for that. Tai Chi Cha every Tuesday night. Coping with depression every Tuesday night. Tammy and Rodney do such a great job of creating an atmosphere for folks who might be struggling with depression in general. And please don't forget to sign up for our newsletter or for our volunteer opportunities. And then finally, don't forget to stop by the store and see what kind of new fun things that Liz has been putting in there. And there's some pet rocks in the store that say Temple Buddhist Center. Thanks, Robert. And there's the little picture Robert was talking about. So for everyone, thank you so much for being here. And as you go into your day, I wish you peace, blessings, and go Chiefs.